Hey, welcome to the show, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, aka Shorty, and this is a show for those within the real estate industry wanting to lead and grow their real estate business. It's a series of interviews that we conduct for those within the industry. So we're finding out what those leaders are within the industry, what makes them tick, what's their story, what are their strategies, and how to become the leaders and the growers within the industry. But also, it's an interview series with those outside of the industry. I'm always a big believer of looking at a whole different part of the pie rather than just focusing on one part of the pie. Because what it does, it allows you to have a different perspective, allows you to get snippets or golden nuggets from those outside of the industry that can look into the industry and go, there's a different perspective. And so I encourage you to reach out to the guests. I encourage you to lean into these series to find out how can these pieces of information, experiences, stories help you lead and grow your real estate business. Hi, and welcome back to another edition. And ladies and gentlemen, very excited to have our next guest. Oh my goodness. Ready to lock in with Candie Italiano from Ray White Dalkeith in Claremont in WA. Wow, as one of the top performing agents in the state and the most recommended agent in Cottesloe year after year, she feels incredibly privileged to help people navigate the exciting journey of buying and selling in the coastal suburbs, which she loves. Her goal is to make every transaction seamless and stress-free while delivering the absolute best outcome for her clients. With 12 years of experience living and working across Asia and the Middle East, she brings a global perspective to the local market and a unique ability to assist expat clients. Whether they're relocating from interstate or overseas, having called Cottesloe home for the past decade with her husband and 4 children, she has a deep connection to this incredible community and a true passion for helping others find the perfect coastal home. She believes success in real estate comes from genuinely listening to her clients, creating a tailored marketing strategy, and ensuring clear, consistent communication every step of the way. Her hands-on approach means she goes above and beyond, whether it's meticulous preparing for home for sale, negotiating fiercely on behalf of her clients, or simply being there to provide guidance when they need it the most. Ultimately, her priority is not just achieving exceptional results, but ensuring her clients feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. So, if you're considering buying or selling or working in Cottesloe, Swanbourne, or the surrounding suburbs, reach out, and I'm excited to have her on the show today. Candie, welcome.
Thanks, James. That sounds, yeah, it's a lot of information about me. Thanks.
Oh, I love it. So I'm excited because you've been in the industry for a little while now, but it hasn't always been the case. What sparked that interest of getting into real estate when share with
Yeah.
that journey.
Yeah, it's funny how life evolves, life's journey. But about 9 years ago, I'm originally a school teacher, actually. And when we lived overseas, I worked at some of the international schools and loved it, but knew it wasn't something I wanted to do forever. And obviously, having 4 kids, I've been a mum and really love that too. Yeah, but about 9 years ago, we had a big trauma in our home, and my husband was sort of attacked. And anyway, he survived, but wasn't really able to work or anything. So I just, it's funny, I don't even know why. I just always love real estate. We always had property, and I decided to go and do my real estate course, when there was a lot of trauma in the house, but I knew I just needed to have a focus. So I went off and did my real estate course. I had someone, give me my first opportunity and worked with her for 3 years and sort of cut my teeth, which was amazing. Yeah, so it's funny how life kind of leads you in a certain direction, even when things were kind of not great. But it's probably the best thing I've ever done. No, it is the best thing I've ever done. And I feel like I was always supposed to be. And actually, it's funny. So many people go, "Oh my God, that job just suits you, Candie."
Yeah.
So, which sometimes makes me nervous. I'm like, "What sort of person do you think I am?" But no, it's amazing. It's a incredible industry, full of highs, as well as full of lows. But after I think nearly 9 years now, I've got a great flow, and I am a referral agent by many now. So that's, yeah, it's incredible.
And I mean, it's been a beautiful journey, obviously with the ups and downs, unfortunately. But if you look back at those 9 years and now being that referral agent, the leading agent in your area, how has that transition? Like you said, you had the 3 years of someone, being able to help in that process. But what have you seen developed over those 9 years as the biggest, I guess, steps or stages for your growth and development as an agent?
Think it's being really true to yourself. Like,
Mm.
it's really made me reflect on um, who I am. Often I was told, you're too nice. And I went, oh, it was interesting. Can you ever be too nice? And we're in sales, and it's not really about sales. It's about connecting with people. It's about trust. So I think it was about being true to myself, true to myself, but also true and honest with clients and having integrity. That's, to me, everything. And your reputation is everything. It's just hard work. Like getting your name out there to start, there's nothing else you can do except work hard. And in those early years, you haven't got a PA. I didn't have one for a very long time. I was always nervous about, getting the wrong person work for me. I'd prefer to just stay and take control of my own business. But I would be walking the streets and dropping letters, and I actually got some great listings off that as I went through, not necessarily straight away. So I think it's always thinking long term, not short term on the transaction, but actually long term relationships, relationship building. Um, that's to me the most important thing, then it's a really satisfying business. I never wanted to be the person that sells everywhere. I never wanted to be that. And most agents are happy to do that because it's work. But to me, I live in Cottesloe. I love it. I have a passion for where I live. And so my first goal actually was just to be the most recommended agent in Cottesloe. It's all I ever wanted. I didn't really want much more. And now it's probably more Swanbourne as well. That's kind of my next growth area. But I just would like to increase my market share there and just offer the best service I can. And you are constantly learning and growing on how to offer better service, making sure you stay in touch with people. There's so much.
So true. And I mean, the type of clientele that you have worked with, continue to work with are, the properties that you sell are absolutely amazing and absolutely beautiful. If you look about over those 9 years, what has been, I guess, a property that has stand out for you the most in relations to, I guess, most satisfying and most rewarding, where it may not have been the easiest transaction, or it may have been the easiest transaction, that you go, wow, that property was really either had the biggest impact on me personally. Have you got one of those examples that you could share with us?
There are lots of different examples. I mean, achieving a great price when everyone's, I mean, I always try to stay in my lane and just kind of, not listen to the noise. But there was one which I'm reselling at the moment. But it was a hilarious thing. The owners had gone away, and it's a huge house and a huge yard. They'd gone away. It was in January, mid-January, when a lot of people are away. But in those first 6 years, I never went away. I was just working. And this buyer called and said, I'm in the city. I'd like to come and see that house. And I was like, for sure, no problem. I'll see you in 30 minutes. And it was literally like something out of the block, you've got, 10, 9, 8, it was a countdown. My husband was sick in bed. I said, you have to get out of bed. Out of my 4 children, I only have one at home. So I had John blowing leaves, because it was this huge yard with this huge gum tree that dropped leaves. And I had my daughter picking up the bark. I was cutting greenery from the garden to try and freshen things up inside, opening the house. So I was probably a bit sweaty by the time they arrived, but it was our buyer, and it was probably most people quoted around 7.5 for this home, and I sold it for 9.15. So I was pretty, yeah, I was pretty stoked. And I guess it's that classic case, always answer your phone.
Yep.
Number one, it's amazing how many agents don't, but always answer your phone, because you never know, that's could be the buyer for the home.
Yeah, wow. I love those stories because that's the thing, what people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes in order to get something ready, in order to where a buyer rocks up and thinks, this is what it always looks like, not realizing what half an hour ago was
Oh,
this it looked
James,
like.
you will not believe some of the, and I really wish we had done before and after videos and pictures with a lot of homes. The transformation has been huge. It's changing tapware, it's painting, it's gardening, it's staging. I just believe we will get the best result if we find that emotional buyer, and emotional buyer is going to connect to something that looks beautiful. And usually it's women who connect. We want them to envisage themselves living in those spaces. So that's really a big thing. A lot of people go, "Oh, you always sell such beautiful homes." And I just want them to know it's not always beautiful to start, but they'll be beautiful by the time they go to market. Part of my service is I offer my stylist Kate, who's amazing, and I as part of my service, I give her to my clients for 4 hours. So it might be to help them shush the home, to help them declutter. Maybe they don't want staging, but they just need help with presenting their own home. So it's something I really value. I value it enough to make that part of my service. And obviously, then there's staging companies to help if we need to go that extra level. But to me, that's everything.
Hey guys, just a little side note here. How's it going? Are you on track this year? I know that sometimes this part of the year we can feel like we're in a bit of a grind, a bit of in the trenches. Are you on track from the original plans that you set out for the rest of this year? What I've realized is that with this time of year, we get so distracted and we've got trying to chase so many shiny balls and go down so many rabbit holes. And that's why I created a program called the 90. It's a framework that actually allows you to achieve more in 90 days than ever before. Some of the feedback that we've got from some of the people that have used the process, the 90, is that they've achieved more in 90 days than the whole previous year. So if you'd like to have the tools, have the techniques, have the framework on the 90, so you and your team can achieve more in 90 days than ever before. What it does, it impacts you of how to get clear, what you need to do, and who you need to be to show up in order to achieve the things you want to achieve over the next 90 days. Simply head over to jamesshort.com.au, click on join the waitlist, fill in your details, and one of the team members will be in touch and take you through the 90 framework. On with the show. Yeah, I mean, you've hit some really good points there in relations to being focused on a specific area, always answering your phone, having that stylist, going that extra mile, having that referral, being known in the area, having that referral-based business. And that really just makes you, I guess, hyper-focused. And so you're not spreading yourself so thin. You know the type of client that you're working with, that you love working with. You know the type of home that you can see the vision for that in relation to
Yeah,
the before and after. And I think that's really a testament to you and your vision, but also how clear you are when you're having these conversations to potential vendors, because that speaks for itself. And then, as you said, the feedback that you get is like, oh, you're always selling, beautiful homes. But what goes on behind is actually quite a lot behind the scenes, which is fantastic.
absolutely. And I have this incredible team of tradespeople, and that are just phenomenal. They literally drop everything. I've had, this one um, painter and his group, they've been there at midnight on a Friday night because Candie needs it. She's just listed. She needs it done by Monday. And I'm so thankful for that. And they're all thankful for the work. And I'm really thankful that they just get it done, because everybody, we all need everything done yesterday.
Of course.
No one wants to wait. So yeah, it's
But
good.
that's also a testament of as you said originally, about building those relationships. And it's not just relationships with vendors or buyers, it's a relationship with your team around you and, the support team, the trades, the stylists, and all that. That's a relationship building exercise in itself. And I think that's a testament of you in relations to then working them at, they're being there at 12 to get the property ready and what's required. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just everything though, don't you think? The
Yeah,
relationships, genuinely
totally.
building relationships, being a good person, that's who I would like to work with, someone you trust, that you can connect with. They're going to connect, I'm going to connect with buyers. All of that is really important.
Big time, big time.
Yeah.
What have you noticed as some of the changes within the industry over I guess, the last 9 years that you've been involved with it? What have you seen as some of those milestone changes?
Well, there's a lot more women,
Yeah, it's so good.
especially here in WA, in Perth, the western suburbs especially. Feel like it's been a female takeover. I think there was a chap over here with some, producer of one of those shows on the East Coast, who met me for a chat when he was here a while ago. And he couldn't kind of get his head around it because you've got a lot of young guys, a lot of men, a lot of young guys in Sydney and the eastern suburbs and that sort of thing. And sadly, I'm going to say it, but it's a lot of middle-aged women here, of which I'm one of them. But to me, it just makes sense too.
So true.
We
Yep.
know homes, we know how to present them. Women are usually great communicators, but it's actually been really not, really great. There's a lot of phenomenal women in the western suburbs absolutely smashing it. So it's exciting.
And I take my hat off because I think they are women with that aspect. They do connect so much better. They do communicate so much better. They can really understand and empathize with both the vendor and the buyers
Yeah,
on so many different elements, which is
yeah.
absolutely
And we're good
amazing.
at multitasking.
Which comes to my next question, right? Like, mum, wife, uh, busy running a business. What are some of your strategies or tips that you can share with the listeners around how do you fit it all in? How do you juggle it all?
Yeah, look, I must admit, when I first started, it was kind of my meditation to kind of just go, right, I've got to focus on this because there was so much trauma and happening in the background. And I would sort of be all in, but then, the family would really need me. I mean, I was always sort of there for the kids, but my husband wouldn't be well. So I'd sort of kind of retract and, be at home a bit. So I was kind of a bit up and down for the first few years. My family have been amazing.
That's great.
They, and I'm so proud because they have just been all in on my journey and they're my biggest cheerleaders. They're like, Mum, we're so proud of you. Actually, it's like one of my recent birthdays, it was last year, and the kids all write cards and so lovely. And every one of them, they're like, we're so proud of you. And I went, but no one like said I was funny or there's kind of like they're all really proud of me, but I like, aren't I funny anymore? Or, so the cards this year all had another spin. They weren't just proud. They're like, Mum, you're also really funny. Or, anyway, we had a bit of a laugh about that, but it has been amazing. And maybe, you know, and look, it's incredible if you've got your family to support you, to help you walk the streets, to help put out signs, especially in those early days. I was incredibly thankful. I've always sort of just been focused on exercise too. So that's something like even now, usually there's something on every morning. I love Pilates on the reformer. I train with girlfriends and I play pennants. I play tennis, so I train and play on a Thursday night. So that's really important to me. It just sets me up for the day. So yeah, it is a juggling act. And look, but do they say women can have it all? No, I don't. I don't know whether you can, but you're trying to find that balance. I just had my daughter, my youngest, move to Melbourne for uni, and she had tried to call me this morning, and I said, "Darling, it's Monday, right?" Sorry, my phone is ringing. Sorry, let me just put that on silent. She said, Mum, it's never a good time. And I went, it's Monday. All my callbacks happen on a Monday. You can't call me on a Monday. That's not going to work. So Anyway, yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. I love it. I love
yeah.
it. And that's beautiful. You can have that relationship with them all where you can have those conversations and they go, okay, yeah, got it, mum. But also to be
Yes.
your number one fans and supporters, which is a beautiful thing and being so proud of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, no, it's been an incredible journey. And yeah, it's trying to find that balance. I mean, I know when I'm sort of tipped too much and there's too much work and that's all happening without enough family time or time for yourself, and it's just but you know John does all the cooking now, so I go home to a great meal, or the kids chip in, so we've sort of got a good balance. I mean, all my kids are adults now, the youngest is 18, so it's obviously a better time, but they were kids during this whole process. I don't know, I managed to get it through.
Well done.
You're up late, you're up early, working, just
Yep.
trying to get everything done.
Fantastic. And what's does the next 12 to 24 months look like for you? Any exciting projects? Anything, any key areas of focus?
Yeah, I think trying to find that work-life balance. Now just trying to like scheduling holidays. I think that's really important. And I must say, when we've gone overseas, even though I'm still checking emails and whatnot, it really is a break. And I've got an amazing PA, Alicia, and I think we have definitely just decided we're going to bring someone else on. Um, I've been umming and ahhing about it for so long, and we've just decided she really wants to move more into sales associate. So I think we'll get someone to come in and do more her admin side of things, which I think will be amazing. And I guess at the end of the day, I'd like to increase my market share in Cottesloe. I've got the number one sort of market share, and increase that in Swanbourne as well. So that's kind of my goal over the next 12 to 18 months.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Mm.
So, Candie, on the show, we have our 60-second quiz to find out a little bit more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
Yeah, I am.
All right, cool. Here we go. Favorite food?
I love Japanese, but I actually love a good steak and salad.
Love it. Favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption,
Great. Favorite holiday destination?
Italy, or Rottnest. Local Rottnest, overseas Italy.
All right, fantastic. What's your morning routine?
Yep, up, Pilates, some sort of exercise first thing in the morning.
Beautiful. And do you have an evening routine?
That's not so good. I'm supposed to get off my phone. I don't. I'm still on and have terrible sleeping habits. But anyway,
Cool. Do you have a most embarrassing moment?
yeah, but it's so embarrassing. I just don't know whether I want to share it with you.
Okay.
It is actually so funny. I actually will share it with you because it was so embarrassing. Our dog, who was a puppy at the time, well, I'll tell you the story, then you anyway, I've gone off to train with this trainer, got dressed in the dark, I've gone off, trained, done legs, etc. And then I've gone home, sort of collapsed on the bed, and the kids have come in and gone, my God, mum, what is wrong with your leggings? And I've looked down, I've got a huge hole in my crutch from the dog. I kid you not. I'm like, are you joking? I've just been to the gym like that, had no idea. And I reckon that is seriously one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had. And the trainer never mentioned it. Anyway,
Wow. Wow. All right, that's up there. That's up there.
that is totally up there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. If you could choose five inspirational people to have dinner with, who would they be? They could be either dead or alive.
Nelson Mandela,
Hmm.
I think would be amazing. Jack Nicholson, I think he would be a huge amount of fun. Who was I actually wrote some down? Oh, Bruce Springsteen, he'd be my number one. Love, obsessed. We saw him in London last year. We love him. Richard Branson, ultimate entrepreneur, but kind of loves life. And Lady Di.
Wonderful.
Kind of like to have known to what went on behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And do you have a biggest regret?
Um, no, no. I think you get to the point in your life, you go, well, yeah, do we regret some of the trauma? But actually, that's brought us to where we are today. I feel like our kids have great empathy. So as much as you worry about them through certain things, you go, well, they are the people they are today because of their experiences. So no regrets. I'm an optimist, always looking forward. embracing life.
Beautiful. And if you were Prime Minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
Yeah, homelessness. I just feel like in this wealthy country, everyone deserves the right to have a roof over their head.
Yeah, fantastic. And what's your best piece of advice?
Um, you can never fail if you never give up.
Ooh, love it.
Mm.
Love it. Love it.
Which I,
And
I just strongly believe. Work hard. You might get a million no's, but you'll never fail. Just keep trying, keep working hard, and it will happen. There's just such
fantastic.
a strong correlation.
So true. So true. And how can the audience find out more, follow your journey, or reach out?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Candie Italiano Property. They can always message me if they want my phone number or anything. So happy.
Wonderful. Candy, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights. Really appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Thanks,
Information.
James.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Have a great day.